Hey everybody, Vince and Gindo here. I'm with my buddy Brandin. What's up, man?
Not too much. How you doing?
Doing all right. We're here playing some Smite. We're checking out the new god, Ah Puch.
Ah Puch.
Ah Puch. Ah Puch. I always Ah Puch my hands. Hey. No, it's Ah Puch is the Mayan god of Decay.
Decay. Yeah, he's the evil guy. Like when you go down as far as you can in the Mayan version of hell, and apparently this is who you run into. So.
I definitely do not want to go to the Mayan version of hell, or any version of hell for that matter.
The ninth circle of hell.
So he's a mage.
Yep.
We're gonna get into some of his lore and some of his. We're gonna let's see what he sounds like too, right?
Sure. Yeah. Let's listen to this. Oh my God, he's so surly.
He is. He's very surly. He's growly and gravelly.
Kind of dancey. Cool mask. I like the mask. But yeah, these are his two skins. This is his regular one. This is his alternate color skin, death mask. I tend to like this a little better, black and red. I mean, that's always bad.
Yeah.
You know. So.
In a bad man kind of way. Like
yeah.
Look out here, I come down the lane kind of way.
So we'll get into his abilities. He's a high area damage mage. You'll see in a minute as soon as we go over his abilities. His lore, like we said, sort of the evil overlord of the ninth circle of Mayan hell.
Yep. If you're meeting this guy not on the battlefield,
yeah,
you probably did something wrong with your life.
Yeah.
It's probably
so think about it. Yeah. You've got time. Let's run through these super fast. Ah Puch is one of those guys that really synergizes. His kit synergizes really well. Like you can bounce a lot of stuff into each other. You can heal off it. He's got pretty interesting sustain, but it all kind of works off his passive, which is hollow ground. Ah Puch is closely attuned with the dead and may exhume corpses at his will. When walking over a decaying corpse, Ah Puch, he lowers the cooldown of his 1 and his 2 by 2 seconds. He restores 6% of his maximum health and 3% of his maximum mana. So
yeah,
this is huge, right? Because it's percentage based of your maximum. So basically, so you could see him sort of kind of like a Zhang Kui who builds protections based off his stacks from minions he consumes. This guy, like the more mana, the more health he has towards late game. The more this passive is going to bring back. So you could essentially cast most of his abilities for free, as long as you pick up a corpse, afterwards.
Or at very least at a very discounted rate. And the fact that it like that cooldown reduction is actually big too. Like I know out of context, 2 seconds doesn't seem like a lot, but if you go to his 1. You see, at the higher levels of his 1, it generates 2 corpses, and it's got a 10-second cooldown. So if you throw this out, his 1 out, and then grab both of his corpses,
it's a 6-second spell.
You're down to 6 seconds. If you have any cooldown reduction to go along with that,
at max 40, you're talking about 4 seconds. So you're lobbing corpses out a lot, pretty often if you go cooldown with this guy. And having said that, I think part of the way they balance that is you could see he does have high area damage, but he's not a huge bursty mage, right?
No, not at all.
Like we'll get into his abilities right now, but most of his abilities have really poor scaling, 10 to 30% at max, as well as just sort of low base ability damage.
Yeah, this is not a hero you're going to want to build a lot of magical power with because you're not going to see that extra oomph really in his.
I definitely see him more as a utility god, as like an area denial god, as holding an area down, and his abilities sort of synergize with that. So his first one, Undead Surge, he basically sort of lobs out 2 corpses, sort of like Isis's Spirit Ball. You can detonate it early for that damage and slow on an enemy, or you can let it go all the way out and it'll detonate on the first thing it hits. The big thing about this is that it generates corpses. 1 for the first 3 levels, 2 for ranks 4 and 5. And a 4-second and a
3-second 40% slow is also nothing to
nothing
to sneeze at.
Again, that utility, right? Like he gets someone and he locks them down. And those synergize into his next 2 abilities, which are Corpse Explosion. This is really his big damage area, right? Like it's basically just an AoE damage, sort of like Nox's 1. But it hits for initial damage plus 10% scaling, and then every corpse caught within that sort of circle of initial damage also explodes, dealing more damage than sort of just your base spell.
And with his passive, he can have up to 6 corpses out on the table,
which is stupid.
Which is stupid. I mean, like, if you see, imagine if you see 3, 4 corpses just sitting there in an area, you're not going to want to go anywhere near that because, you're just going to just get, we said generally he's not very bursty, but he can be situationally bursty if he sets it up with corpses and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And I mean, that's really situational too.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of a way where you could like bank 3 corpses and then catch somebody, like maybe at mid-harpy camps.
It's like Amir's ult.
Rotation.
No one gets hit by Amir's ult. The point of Amir's ult is to scare people. They don't want to stand there long enough to get hit with that 600, 700 damage.
I mean,
so you put those corpses down, and then you're right. The situation is going to happen, but the upside of that is the reason that situation is not going to happen is because wherever you put those corpses, people want to get away from it.
Or I believe that they also have hitboxes, so people focus the corpses to knock them down, which saves a couple basic attacks on whoever you're trying to save. Or Ares ult, right? Like drop 2 corpses, have Ares ult over the corpses, drop 2 more, and then throw your 3 in there to generate a 5th one, or detonate it for big damage. But generally speaking, those are very situational ones. Corpse Explosion is his moneymaker as far as damage goes. If he catches both corpses, they both explode, or however many you really have on the ground. Though the key thing to make sure of is like corpses do not cause other corpses to explode. So if you have 2 corpses next to each other, you throw a Corpse Explosion down on the one on the right, it explodes. It's not going to detonate the one on the left.
Right. So you got to make sure that if you're going for that kind of big long, that long con of like bursting like 4 corpses at once, they do have to be all within a compact area where you can hit all of them with one casting of Corpse Explosion.
Absolutely, yeah. And sometimes you don't want to detonate them, right? Because you want to go pick them up for that 6% health. And
right. Or you just want them there to make people go, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. So ability 3 is Fleeting Breath. This one is really interesting. It's basically your anti-heal spell. So what happens is that he throws a charm. It creates a corpse, right? But what it also does is applies a dot to anyone in the area, and it ticks over time. Again, not super great damage, 15% magical scaling, pretty low base. But what it really does, what this thing is really for, is to lock down healers and to prevent healing, right? To scare people away from trying to heal you up.
And it's an effective scare.
Yeah. So it does additional damage for every tick of healing you have while the dot is active. In addition, it stuns for 1 second flat, plus 0.5 seconds up to a max of 3 seconds. So like 4 more ticks? Yeah. So up to 10 ticks of additional damage of healing and up to 4 more ticks of additional stun for healing. So what this effectively does is you throw this on a Raw or anybody, they're not going in a Raw heal, right? You throw it on whoever Afro's kissing, Afro's not going to kiss them.
Right.
So Sylvanas is gonna think twice about popping his 2. This is to prevent and ultimately like scare people away from getting the heal.
Yeah, especially those damage over the heal over time ones that have several ticks.
Yeah.
That this just completely decimates them.
Yeah, and I mean this also generates a corpse. So toss this on a healer, pop out your 1, throw your 2 down, hit them with 3 corpses, right? Yep. So that's burst healing, that's burst damage, plus they can't heal off of that. Empty the Crypts is just by far like one of the most interesting aspects of him. He does a crazy amount of area denial damage with
Look
the
at
spell.
that radius. 50. That's you'll see when we get into the game. That's massive.
This is huge. Like I think it's the biggest radius that they've done. Not
it's the biggest I've seen.
Biggest ability radius, but it's super straightforward. Just it takes over an area and anyone standing in it takes damage. A tick of damage plus 10% magical scaling, but it ticks really quickly.
It ticks really fast in the whole area, too.
Yeah, in the whole area. And it also adds a 7% slow that stacks up to 8 times. Which
so that's a max 56% slow. That's over half of your movement speed. That's just gone.
That is nothing to scoff at. Yeah. So basically, you drop the ultimate on a fire giant. You drop the ultimate on a tower that you're trying to take down. Nobody gets in there to play, right?
Yeah.
Like you.
Not if they want to live.
Ah Puch owns this area now.
Yep.
Like this is my area. So let's go ahead and jump into game, and we will check out some of the stuff.
Cool, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So here we are in an arena, just against bots. We're just going to run against some bots. Picked up Ah Puch, bought some cooldown boots. Check out his cool little voodoo dance he's got going on here.
That's so great. I love the back animations in this game.
Yeah, they're great. It's one of the only times you can actually see the gods' faces, which I appreciate. Turn around. But, I love this guy's voice pack. It's so good.
He's so enthusiastic. He loves his job.
Yeah, he does.
Ah Puch loves what he does.
Loves being the god of Decay. And why wouldn't you?
And why wouldn't you?
So, like we were saying before, I think where this guy's really going to have a problem is early lane clear, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He does not seem like a mid laner to me. He seems, man, I don't know. I don't even think he's a solo laner. He's just.
I think with enough cooldown, he could succeed in the solo lane. But again, it doesn't feel like early he could.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like once he's got his one up to the point where it's generating 2 corpses, and you've got it, you know, the cooldown to where. Because like you said, with max cooldown reduction, you get his the cooldown time from 10 to 6, and then with the 2 corpses, you get it down to basically to
nothing, yeah,
to almost nothing. It'd be down to 2 seconds. So you'd be able to theoretically just toss corpses, run and pick them up. 2 seconds later, toss corpses, run and pick them up, and that'll give you a sustain that's just really tough to deal with.
Yeah, very much so. And I think we were bugging it out with whatever we were doing over there. But yeah, so for example, now I have boots, a little bit of that. I cast this, 8 seconds. I pick up 2, now it's down to 4. You know, and that is sort of ridiculous considering you can also heal off of this thing. So you're really healing yourself up quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, especially like I said, once you get it to the point where it's 2 corpses instead of 1, I feel like his sustain is going to be very, very good.
Oh yeah, very much so. So let's go ahead and drop this all and see what it looks like.
Sure, let's do it.
So we have an area here that we want to cave.
Oh, that's huge.
Throw that up there.
No one can get away.
And like Thor's slowed right now, like Max slowed.
He had so much trouble trying to get it out there.
Yeah, I didn't even attack Ra, and he had died eventually in it. But, so yeah, he seems like he might be a little mana hungry in the beginning. I don't know. Like this is the first time I've really played him.
Right. Sure.
I imagine you're probably gonna want to level his 2 after his 1. I would take it. Let's just go full cooldown, see what happens.
Yeah, I feel like cooldown would be the way I'd want to. Cooldown and mana.
Maybe. Yeah, definitely. Cooldown, mana. Basically things that just help with utility.
Yeah, I don't think his scaling is good enough to warrant.
I don't think he's gonna heal.
Yeah, we want to try to really get a good example of using that 3 against the healer like Ra.
Go ahead and pop that. See, once you like with most mages, you know his ability. Wow, look at that.
Love it.
His damage really comes from his abilities. So. I feel like Ah Puch is going to be one of those gods where you really have to sort of micromanage what you're doing, right? Do I just detonate my corpse out of habit, or do I go and pick them up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think those corpses are at their most powerful when they're on the ground because, I mean, yeah, sure, you're going to do a lot of damage with them if you catch someone with it, but like you said, it's pretty situational. The idea is you put those corpses down, and then people are like, I can't go there.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to
like
be
in this situation,
there.
Right? We want the tower in. I put those bad boys there, and
yeah, now no one wants to fight there.
Well, yeah. Now anyone that isn't a bot,
right? Anyone that isn't a bot and values their life doesn't want to fight there.
They definitely see those, and they know that either I'm going to take damage, or I'm going to take damage if I go there, or I have to let it out. Right? I have to let that tower roll through.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just in terms of continuing with the idea of his area denial. I mean, that ult is just bananas. I mean, what's really great is that it's the kind of ult. Oh,
nope.
I thought we were gonna get a look at it.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. He didn't cast it though. Let's see if I can bait it out. Heal.
There it is.
Oh, he didn't come in.
Yeah, he didn't come in.
Oh well.
He said bye-bye.
Yes, he did.
But yeah, with that ult, you would imagine with an ult that lasts that long and that's that disruptive, you would think it might be channeled or that Ah Puch would have to stay in the same area for it. But it really is just like he lays it down in a radius around him, and then he can run freely.
Yeah.
So it's literally just like he plants his flag in the ground and just says,
yeah,
I mean,
this
area is mine.
This is a Bellona, right? This is the Bellona ult.
Yeah,
this is,
exactly.
This is I claim this area, and now you either have to leave or deal with it.
Or you have to deal with it, exactly. And like that to me, that to me is a great. It's early. It's early. Obviously, we just got access to this god, but as crazy as it sounds, I think Blink initiates for team fights might even be good with him. I mean, he's squishy, so that that could be risky. But I mean, I feel like blinking out of nowhere into the middle of a group of dudes and then just throwing down your ult might not be the worst thing. I mean, because then they have to get out. If they fight there, then they're gonna have a really tough time, and so they're either gonna have to back up or they're gonna take a lot of damage.
Let's see how that works.
Yeah.
Active blink.
Or at the very least, if you don't want to blink and initiate with him, because he's squishy, that's risky.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Super risky. But
I can see this being sort of a trollish build, but
yeah.
I mean, how fun, right?
Yeah. Oh, a lot of fun for sure. But even if you think of him as a counter initiate,
Callie. So that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I blinked in, and now if I blink at the back of a team fight, they have to either fight or come back.
Right. Exactly. And also, like, even if you don't want to use it as an initiate because it's risky because he's squishy and you don't want to buy blink on a character like this because you got better things to buy,
right?
For sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Even still, it's a good counter initiate, right? Like this is like someone jumps on you, like we were saying Bologna before, right? Bologna jumps at your team and plants that flag right in the middle of your team, and then you just pop this in her face, and it's like, well, normally Bologna jumping in your face like that with that ult is like a bad situation for your team, but you put down that ult, and then all of a sudden, the other team has to think about whether or not they're actually going to stay in that area and fight, or if they're going to back up.
Yeah.
And then you've made them waste, at very least, then you've made Bologna waste her good initiate on the team fight.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, it boils down to area denial, right? You claim an area. What are you doing here? And so maybe blink wouldn't be so bad, so you can do stuff like that. I do say the one thing I dislike about his one is that it does have. Really, buddy? It does have, sort of, what am I trying to say? It has like a hitbox, it has collision detection. So if you run into something, let's say you're trying to hit the back wave of the archer minions.
Yeah,
now you have to reposition yourself and angle differently to hit the archer minions.
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to go through it. So
sure.
I actually kind of did like blink right there for that reason.
It helps you with positioning for skills like that.
Yeah. One of the other things I do like is that since there is a delay on his one, you could essentially throw his one, prime the two.
Yeah.
So then as soon as the zombies reach there, they're detonating.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also curious to see, I guess, now that you're maxed on his.
Here we go.
Yep.
On his what?
You're maxed on his 1 and 2. Oh, are you gonna blink and?
I'm trying to blink, but I can't get out of combat. There we go. Now they can't get back to base without taking damage.
Yeah. No, that's pretty good. Yeah. See, now Ra's cut off.
Yep.
I mean, that's a bot. Who knows what a human would do.
Sure.
But he's cut off. He's like, I don't want to go. He's like, I wanted to go back to base, but now I don't want to because I'm going to take a ton of damage. So now I have to stand and fight this Sobek that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah, and I think what it boils down to is, like, because it doesn't do that much damage, it might not deter players, but that slow really adds up. And, like, let's say you throw a Spear of the Magus on there, right? Like, every tick.
Yep.
Every tick will to drop more protection, so.
I'm curious to see now, I was saying before, now that you have both his 1 and his 2 maxed, I'm wondering if the 1-2, literally the 1-2 combination is enough damage to effectively clear a wave now.
Oh, yeah, I think it will be. I've got 200, and at, 30% scaling, that's another 60. 71 we got there. We got 20. So, yeah. So you're talking, a little over 200, 250. Yeah, that'll be enough. That's a lot of damage.
But still, even then,
for minion waves, right? But
sure.
Like against, maybe you want to go. I mean, his ult would obviously benefit from shard, right? But most of his damage is burst, so you're probably going to want to go. I'm sorry, spear. But so you're probably going to want to go shard, since you're not really going to be applying. I would imagine he is a shard god.
Yeah, and the other thing of it too is that sure he gets to this point where he can clear waves effectively, but I feel like it takes him longer to get there than other mages do, right?
Yeah,
it
definitely does.
It's definitely, at the very least, it's until his 1 is producing 2 corpses instead of just 1. Oh, I love that ult.
That's so cool.
It just creates a big area of nope. Just like, nope, don't want to be there. Don't want to fight there. Don't want any part of that.
I really wish we could. Ooh. See, and like I'm picking up corpses, so I'm regaining cooldown so fast on this guy.
Yeah, you can just keep using it over and over again. And what I'm curious to see is, because we haven't really seen the situation yet, because A, you're godlike, B, we're playing against bots here. So
yeah, no, these are bots, and they're not really healing. So,
right.
But that's stun, right?
Stun.
I mean, can you just imagine, like, it'll never. Ooh.
I think it'd be easier to land against humans actually in a way because humans,
predictable?
predictable. Exactly. They actually humans do what makes sense.
Yeah,
whereas computer doesn't. So.
Yeah. So if I see Raw drop a heal in assault or whatever, I know the team's gonna go stand in it, and then I just.
Yeah, it'd be better to wait even. Like once they put the heal down, you let people walk into it, and and then you throw it in.
Come on, heal. Thanks, Sobek.
Damn it, Sobek.
Not so much of a team player here. So let's grab that mana back, drop the ult, and I mean that's really it, man.
Yeah,
he seems really utility focused. Area denial, lots of utility going on.
Yeah. Did we decide really what lane we think that he plays effectively?
See, I mean, in the current meta, it's all about warriors and solo lane, but I don't really see him being a mid laner.
Yeah, I don't see him being able to clear waves early enough to not get bullied around. In the early game.
I mean, the players way better than I will have their say for sure. I don't know. Maybe you might see Ah Puch jungle. That'd be interesting with his AOE damage.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But yeah, ultimately he may just end up being a dual lane support. I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
He could do a lot of. He could end up in a lot of different places. It's always nice to see a hero though that you feel like doesn't immediately fit into one niche or the other.
Yeah, I mean he does have a lot of sustain, a lot of AOE damage. We'll see what happens with how he shakes out, but
we sure will.
Yeah, this is him. So let's get a woohoo.
Yeah.
And
well, thanks everyone.
Really
yeah, I think that's all we got to say about Ah Puch.
Ah Puch.
But thanks everyone for watching, and for more on Smite, more on Ah Puch, and more on all the upcoming gods as they come out. Keep it right here on IGN.